Hello, I, Assistant Professor KETAN KAMBLE, welcome you all for webinar on action research on behalf of Dnyan Ganga Education Trust, College of Education, Thane. By grace of Lord and your enormous response, more than 1200 delegates have already joined the webinar on action research. I do solemnly welcome Dr. BALANI as resource person for today's webinar. Once again, I welcome all our webinar participants from core of my heart. I would like to throw some light on today's webinar. Brainchild behind today's webinar theme, that is action research, is respected principal Dr. Rawat. She discussed the theme with us and we all unanimously agreed on the theme. As theme action research shall be of great help for DTED and B.Ed college student teachers, faculty, and also researchers. This theme shall have greater practical utility and application in teacher education institutions and its stakeholders. Later, when this proposal was discussed with management of Dnyan Ganga Education Trust, they immediately sanctioned the proposal, which raised our spirit to proceed further. Dnyan Ganga Education Trust's College of Education is upcoming and promising teacher education college in Thane and vicinity area, which strives to impart quality education, making university toppers, taking prize in intercollegiate and university level competitions, catering needs of cognitive, affective, and psychodoma domains, along with inculcation of cultural national values with global perspective. Any folk can go astray without able shepherd, but Dnyan Ganga Education Trust College of Education team is progressing, developing, and venturing into new arenas under able leadership of our beloved and respected principal, Dr. Anjana Rawat. Dr. Anjana Rawat is chemistry graduate with post-graduation in environmental sciences. She pursued B.Ed and M.Ed from eminent institutions like Seva Sadan College of Education Ulhasnagar and Department of Education University of Mumbai respectively. She pursued DSM from YCMOU and PGDME from University of Mumbai with top ranking in both examinations. She was also honored with doctorate degree in education by Dravidian University, a state government university of Andhra Pradesh. She has vast 16 plus years experience wherein she has worked as teacher and principal both in school, DTED colleges and B.Ed colleges, both in India and abroad as well. She is working as acting principal in Dnyan Ganga Education Trust's College of Education since 2016. She has also organized, presented, and participated in various international, national, state, college level conferences, seminars, and workshops. I welcome you, ma'am, for inaugural speech of over to you, Anjana, ma'am.
Thank you, Ketan sir, for your beautiful introduction. Very warm good evening to one and all. It's my pleasure to welcome you all for our first webinar on action research. For that, I will be grateful to my management, Honorable Professor B.D. Patil sir, founder chairman of Dnyan Ganga Education Trust, Mrs. Anita Patil More madam, director of Dnyan Ganga Education Trust, Mrs. Ranjana Patil Madam, Managing Trustee of Dnyan Ganga Education Trust, for motivating and guiding us to organize such webinar. Dnyan Ganga Education Trust was established in the year 1987 with an aim to disseminate quality, productive skills and value education from KG to PG. First fruit of trust is Dnyan Ganga Education Trust School in 1989 and Junior College in 1996 in Kandivali, Mumbai. Gradually, Trust expanded its roots in Thane in the form of Dhyan Ganga Education Trust Campus, Thane. Dhyan Ganga Education Trust Campus in Thane started with BG International School in 2004. Trust advanced by establishing Dhyan Ganga Junior College and Degree College in the year 2004 and 2007 respectively. The Ganga Education Trust did not rest here, rather progressed to bear a new fruit named Dhyan Ganga Education Trust College of Education B.Ed in year 2008. Today, successfully, B.Ed College had completed 11 years of its beautiful journey with capacity of 200 students each year. Objective of Dhyan Ganga Education Trust is spread of education, relief to poor, medical relief, and welfare of the society. We believe in quality education and producing toppers in University of Mumbai in B.Ed examination. Today's webinar is based on action research. Action research is a method of systematic inquiry that teachers undertake as researchers of their own practice. The inquiry involved in action research is often visualized as a cyclical process. Action research emphasizes the involvement of teachers in problems in their own classrooms and has its primary goal that the in-service training and development of the teacher rather than the acquisition of general knowledge in the field of education. Today, we are having an eminent personality, a very good speaker with us, that is Dr. Bhagwan Rameshlal Balani, in charge principal of Bombay Teachers Training College of Education, Kolaba, Mumbai, who will guide us and enlighten our knowledge about action research with wisdom of his word. Detailed introduction of our speaker will be given by Assistant Professor KETAN KAMBLE Sir, B.Ed. He is also a convener of today's webinar. Be safe, stay at home, and take care of your health as well during COVID-19 pandemic. Over to you, Ketan sir.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your wonderful inaugural speech. Dear participants, proceeding ahead, it's my privilege to introduce our resource person for today's webinar, Dr. Bhagwan Balani. Dr. Bhagwan Balani, sir, is in charge principal of Bombay Teachers Training College, Mumbai. He is MSc in Organic Chemistry, M.Ed, PGD-ME, NetSet, both in education, and PhD. During his doctoral studies, he developed quality assurance model for teacher education program. He has presented research papers in various conferences in India, and also his academic and research-based papers have been published in many national and international journals of repute. He is recognized postgraduate teacher of University of Mumbai for M.Ed and MA program. He has vast teaching experience of 16 years in B.Ed college. He has taught subjects like assessment for learning, educational evaluation, science and maths pedagogy, population education, environmental education, action research, and gender, school, and society. He has taught research methodology to MA education students of institute. He is extremely passionate about research in field of education. He has guided M.Ed student for dissertation and B.Ed students for action research projects on contemporary education issues. He has also worked on minor research project funded by UGC. He has spearheaded community work program in college and has taken initiative in sensitizing student teachers in social endeavors. He has played vital role in linking student teachers with NGOs and community centers. Thank you very much, sir, for accepting our invitation and giving us opportunity to listen to you. Dear participants, you can ask your queries during session. Over to you, Balani sir. Welcome once again.
Of Ganga of organizing an online webinar on the very important topic, action research. Now, education can flourish. Education termed as a self-reflective inquiry by the not what we are doing at present. Look at the COVID-19 situation, and there are only to the participants when the other side of the communicator takes the responses positively. That is what is all about is action research. Now this somebody may argue that this is not action research, somebody may say this is an assessment, this is nothing but the reflective inquiry. But suppose that if you go on collecting the we can say responses, recording, analyzing, and then if you draw the inferences out of that, then this kind of, we can say, the practice can result into an action research. So this is not a very simple process. This is a very scientific, objective, systematic, and continuous process that has been that should be undertaken by the expert or the teacher. And here, as far as this process is concerned, we had to rectify, understand these practices, and the situations in which practices are being carried out, whether the medium of the communication is appropriate or not, whether the quality of the audio was clear or not, whether the quality of the content is up to the mark or not, whether the PPTs that are being, we can say, shared, are being discussed, or the kind of illustrations are being given are rational or not, whether all those, we can say, the experiences that are being shared are relevant to the contemporary situation or to the subject or not, are also, we can say, part of the situations in which these practices are being carried out. This is a wonderful exercise, and one must learn. One must learn to introspect, one must learn to reflect, one must learn to document the reflections, and then compile, then analyze, then uh, draw the inferences out of that. That's a wonderful process. There are many more, we can say, definitions of action research, which I'm going to share it with you all. Now, another perspective, because if you look at as to a concept, that concept is being, we can say, defined by the different experts in a different manner. Now let us see what Hopkins says. Action research has been described as an informal. He said that this is an informal. It can be informal, but nowadays it is becoming more formal. So, in the light of, we can say, the current situations are concerned, I won't categorize this process as an informal, but I will definitely say that it can be formal. It can be qualitative. It can be, we can say, quantitative also nowadays. It can be also quantitative, formative, definitely. It is to be formative. Otherwise, you can never call it as an action research. Subjective. Now, here it can be subjective, it can be objective also. It entirely depends upon who is carrying out the action research. Interpretive, definitely, reflective, as I mentioned, and experiential model of inquiry. That's also, we can say, 100% correct, in which all individuals involved in the study are known as contributing participants. Now, suppose that a teacher is conducting a new method in the classroom, and there are 30 children who are participating in the entire process is concerned. And then all the 30 children are there with the teacher. They are following the instruction day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, and they are cooperating, they are generating the data, and they are the main sources of the data. And the data has been recorded, how much learning is taking place, how much, we can say, the skills are being accumulated by them, how much they are able to perform on a given task. So what happens, as far as these learners who are there in the classroom, they are also termed as the contributors, or you can say the participants who are the partners of the entire process. So here, if you look at, as far as this definition of the action research is concerned, it cannot be seen in isolation as one man's army, the teacher who is conducting the research, no, in the classroom. But we also need to give due emphasis to the contributors and the participants and the students who equally share, and then play a significant role in order to, we can say, bring new, or we can say, uh, reality in the classroom. So let us see few more definitions of action research. Okay, action research, now according to this McCutcheon and Jung, action research is a systematic form of inquiry. Perfectly correct, perfectly correct. That is collective, collaborative, self-reflective, and critical, and undertaken by the participants of the inquiry. Now, if you see, as far as this definition is concerned, this definition is perfectly, we can say, highly balanced. Each adjectives that have been used to define this action research are appropriate, because it is a systematic inquiry, form of inquiry undertaken collectively. Because if you see action research, the outcome of the action research is applicable to its participants only. Action research is limited either to a classroom, to a group of classroom, to a school, or we can say a community, where the entire community is involved in the process of the research. So, and again, as far as the outcome of the research is concerned, those cannot be generalized to the larger population or to the society, or we can say all the schools. But the outcome of the research undertaken in a particular setup, in a particular classroom, in a particular group of classroom or a school is concerned, the, the outcome, the suggestions are only applicable to and remain local as far as that particular, we can say, school or a social setup is concerned. So I do confirm that as far as this definition of the action research is concerned, the most appropriate, balanced definition of the action research. Now, another two terms which has been written over there: collaborative. These are some of the characteristics of the action research: collaborative and critical. Collaborative means what? And any research can never be a collaborative research until and still the respondent, they participate, or we can say they cooperate with the researchers. And that's why action research is not a kind of inquiry that is, we can say, conducted in isolation, but it is conducted in consent with the participants. The participants' consent is very, very important. One shall never indulge in doing the research in the classroom without the consent and the awareness of the participants are concerned. This is what is one of the important feature of the action research is concerned. Suppose that if you are collecting the data from your students in the classroom in order to, we can say, study some of the characteristics of the learners, then never do collect the data without clarifying the objectives of doing the research, without clarifying that you are doing an action research, and then you are collecting the data, and the data will be analyzed, and then we can say the inferences of the research will be shared by you with the group of participants. This is what is ethical consideration one shall keep in the mind while doing action research in its own setup. Without the knowledge of co-participants or the person from whom you are collecting the data, nobody shall conduct or undertake the action research. Suppose that if you do so without their consent, without their knowledge, then I will simply say that it is not an action research. So please, 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 whosoever wants to conduct an inquiry in the classroom, in the staff room, with the administrative staff, or at any level of education is concerned, maybe a management also, management with the teachers, whatever the data that is being collected and being analyzed with the purpose to give the feedback to the participant, it should be done with the due knowledge of the participants. Without that, you shall never indulge in any such kind of activity, because those activities cannot be termed as an action research. Another thing is that this is a very critical, we can say, process. Why critical processes? Because what happens, whatever the process that we are undertaking, it has got many phases. Likewise, you have to identify the variable, you had to select the methodology, you had to construct the tools to collect the data, and then you have to choose how you are going to collect the data, how you are going to analyze the data. There are so many processes are involved in that. And then, as far as the validity of the action research is concerned, it should be thorough. That means the person who is doing the action research, he shall not decide everything on his own only. He, no doubt, he has rights to do that, but he needs to do lot of introspection out of that. He need to do lot of reflection on that. He also need to consult his colleagues and even to the learners, as far as the way the process is to be followed, the process is to be we can say put into the process, as well as he also needs to help the participants to understand the way the data is to be collected. So the knowledge, that the knowledge that are being shared or collected should also get, he shall also get the approval of the colleagues, fellow teachers, and the learners also. Then and then, this entire, we can say, the process becomes more rational. And that's why many times it may happen that you may get very contradictory observations, contradictory suggestions, contradictory views, opinions, and one should be open to those views. And that matters a lot. That adds the values to the entire, we can say, research process. If it is not done, then the validity of the entire action research is concerned may not be up to the mark. So if you look at, as far as this, the way it has been constructed, it has been constructed beautifully. So this is one of the best of the best definition. I have studied as far as the action research is concerned. Now let me go further. Now this is a very comprehensive uh, definition of the action researches. So due to internet connectivity, I was logged off. Now again I am logging. Okay. So, wow. So we were discussing this. So here, if you look at, as far as this definition of the action research is concerned, it has, we can say, covered four objectives. One, we can find out the solution to the everyday, we can say, problems. Those problems can be real problems. And then, many times there are, we can say, the issues as far as attendance is concerned, indiscipline in the classroom is concerned, non-cooperation from, parents may be there. There may be any other social issues, might have arise in the classroom. So there can be a number of problems that might have, we can say, arise, and which cannot be, we can say, done through the everyday observations. Whereas one needs to look into, as far as their problems are concerned, and they need to talk to the people, and one needs to take steps in order to solve the problems. And looking for the ways to improve the instruction, I think every teacher must do this exercise in the classroom, so that he can reach out maximally to the participants. And definitely, we can say, as far as the success is concerned nowadays, it is measured through the student achievement, definitely every teacher would like to see that uh, the kind of we can say the instruction that he gives are reaching out to the students maximally, and all those we can say the inputs, efforts, we can say or we can say the endeavors are is getting resulted into the students achievement. So this is also a very comprehensive definition of the action which one must keep in the mind before undertaking any research problem. Then this is also we can say quite similar to the previous ones. Let us look into reflective process. We already said that of progression, problem solving, because as you move on, you are moving towards solving a particular problem. And now the beautiful words which have been used over here are the community of the practice. That's fantastic. That means that should be the practice. The teachers must take the decisions rationally. They shall not assume, estimate, judge, and then we can say take the decisions. No, this should be the practice. So all the administrative decisions which are being we can say taken by the administrators should have the fundamental basis of we can say decision making, and that's why it should be undertaken by the community of the practices. There should be certain people, senior people should be designated to do this job. They shall get involved in order to collect the data, understanding the people, understanding the practice. They shall share and come up with the we can say shared solutions in order to address the issues and solve the problems. Now this can be done, action research can be done by we can say in three ways in the school. One is individual teacher research. Probably as far as the individual teacher research is concerned, I will suggest over here that it should have the two objectives. Individual teachers, one to improvise this practice, and another is to see students achievement. And one more thing also can be done, that suppose that a new pedagogy is to be we can say introduced in the class, talk to the students, post we can say interaction. One must see that or seek approval in a very positive side of the students before putting it into the regular exercise. So this is also wonderful we can say technique which can be used and should be used by the teachers to improvise their own practice, or we can say the effectiveness of their own instructions. And whereas as far as the collaborative action research is concerned, a group of teachers can undertake this we can say exercise. Now suppose that collective decisions are to be done for uh, for example, this conduction of webinar is concerned. Now, one person shall never take a decision. At least 4 5 people shall think about it. They shall share, we can say, their own experiences. What is happening outside? What is the effective medium of, organizing a webinar? Who will do? How it will be done? Then you distribute the responsibility. Talk to the different people. Gather the people. Invite the people. Then at every stage you look into, every stage you look into, and you share your experiences. So this is what so whenever the collaborative work is to be undertaking, or the teamwork is to be undertaken, or we can say where the group of people are involved in that, then at that time of collaborative action research can be very fruitful to be undertaken at the school level. I'll give a few examples for this. Now suppose that if you want to organize a science fair, and then in order to organize organization of the science fair is concerned, one person cannot take a decision. Rather than the group of people who are interested, who can gel with one another, shall come together. They shall plan it out, and then they shall distribute the nature of the work is concerned. They shall coordinate with one another from time to time. They shall communicate to the larger group, to the parents, to the stakeholders, to the students, and then they, no doubt, they shall organize. But after post organization of any science fair or any collaborative activities concerned, it should be looked in totality. The group of people involved in conducting a particular, we can say, social exercise in the school must also collect the data. Now, data can be, we can say, numbers, data can be the text, data can be the photograph, data can be the videos, data can be the experiences of the people, data can be interviews, data can be students' performances. The data can be turnout of the, looking into the turnout of the people, effectiveness, measuring the effectiveness. There can be various kinds of the data that can be collected, but data should not be collected randomly. Now here, the people who are involved in doing the, we can say, collaborative action research, they shall divide the nature of the, we can say, the collection of the data, because data speaks a lot. Who will, we can say, collect the, we can say, numerical data, who will prepare the questionnaire, who shall see that, the questions which are there in the data, are in the questionnaire, are relevant to the activity, and how the data will be, what will be the outcome of the data, how the data will be compiled in the Excel sheet, and how, the data will be aligned with the objectives, and how that aligned objectives will be tested, by using different statistical techniques are concerned. So this is a huge work, and it requires a lot of coordination between the collaborators. And then the like-minded people, shall, uh, no doubt, conceptualize the, we can say, the action research, conceptualize, sit together, define, and write the entire proposal, exchange their ideas, and then they shall also divide the work. Who will write the report, who will do the data analysis, who will, organize everything, who will conduct, and if any program is to be conducted, who all, whose, we can say, cooperation will be sought. Everything should be decided well in advance in the planning phase itself only. So they had to move together from the planning phase to the execution phase to the data collection to the data analysis to the report writing also. And after report writing also, how it can be shared with the concerned, we can say, stakeholders. That is also very important. So if you see, very, we can say, conscious administrators, the teachers, the researchers, who are really worried, who are very sincere about their profession, and then their professional, we can say, development is concerned, or who really cares for the school system, who are involved in the quality, we can say, assurance processes of the schools are concerned, they always sit together and reflect and then take the correct decision. That helps the entire organization, that helps that group of the people, that will lead to the success. So I do really, we can say, recommend that, in comparison to the individual teacher research, I will recommend that like-minded teachers, teaching in an organization, they shall come together, and then they should have the common agenda for, improvising the quality of the educational programs offered by that particular school. That's very important. And those conscious efforts will definitely, we can say, result in a very good action research work. And then the outcome of that action research work, if it is implemented, if it is associated with the decision making body, okay, or we can say implied in the real situation, I think they will be the biggest contributor as far as improvising the entire school quality is concerned. Then school-wide action research. Now, this should be the undertaken by the management, by the principal, by the supervisor. It should be their initiative. How to increase the, we can say, intact capacity of the school. How to reach out to the people in your vicinity. How to increase the enrollment. How to, we can say, increase the customer satisfaction. How to see that how the parents are satisfied with the quality of the education in lieu of the fees they are paying to the organization. So this is what is nothing but it should, school-wide action research should have a direct connect with the decision-making body. That is the management. It is the management's call. It is the principal's call as far as the academic, we can say, decisions are concerned. It is the supervisor's call as far as coordination of the different school activities are concerned, or it is a call of the teachers bodies who are involved in the PTA, because the there are certain teachers, senior teachers, who are responsible for, we can say, handling the PTA activities, and in order to, we can say, develop a greater level of rational dialogue between the management, teachers, and the parents is the need of the hour. At none of the time there should be a dissatisfaction on the part of the parents. Now let us take the example of current situation. Now the students are at home. How to take care of the quality education of the children? What mode of, we can say, education should be followed? How to reach out to the students? Now this is a management's call. This is the principal's call. This is a call of the senior teachers. They must sit together. They must collect the data, and on the basis of the data they shall decide the mode of the action, the kind of education that they would like to give it through the different platforms. They will reach out to the parents. They will reach out to the students. They will also be very rational as far as deciding the fees for the school is concerned. And I believe that this is a high time for the schools to do lot of reflective work, talk to the different stakeholders of the entire school system, and take the decisions rationally. And I think it's time for each stakeholder, the teachers, the group of teachers, the supervisors, the principal, the administrators, to take a call on this. And they cannot take a call without collecting the data, without talking to the people, recording their responsibility, understanding their perceptions, understanding their financial conditions, understanding their apprehensions as far as attending a school is concerned, safety measures are concerned, transportation is concerned. At every aspect of school education is to be looked in with these perspectives. I think it's a high time for all of us to get engaged in the action research. At Bombay Teachers Training College, we want to start new courses. We want to start, we can say, courses for the teachers for the professional development. And all the faculty members are highly involved in, talking to the stakeholders, talking to the alumni, talking to the students, how we can say, adopt the modes of, we can say, communication. So we are not taking any abrupt decisions on our own, but we are highly involved in, we can say, talking to the community. Now what happens, some organization, they collect the data informally. They talk to the people informally, and they take the decisions like that. I do understand that people do not have much time to collect the data, compile and reflect. I do understand some decision also can be made like that only, but I don't put all those decisions, are, we can say, processes as scientific processes. Those may be, we can say, decision making processes. Some might be taking the decisions on the part of as far as the entire school education is concerned. Some of experienced people also must be involved in that, but that is definitely not an action research. What is action research? Which is highly conceptualized, with a proper proposal, with the proper we can say validation processes followed in by the experts, and then by constructing the different tools of the data, implementing it, collecting the data, compiling it, and writing a report on that. That is a true research. Now somebody may ask me, what should be the duration of the action research? I will say that it entirely depends upon the nature of the problem is concerned. If it is related to the class, then it can be 1 week, we can say, research. Suppose that if it is related to the school, then it can be 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, depending upon the variables that are taken into consideration. Or suppose that the major decision, it may take 3 months also. So it depends upon, as far as the nature of the month is concerned, the quantum of the data is to be collected, or the nature of the data is to be collected. If the data is in numbers, it can be analyzed maybe in 3 to 4 days. If the data is qualitative, which has got the stories, which has got narrations, which has got the perceptions, which has got the experiences, which has got interviews, then it may take a longer time. So it entirely depends upon the kind of problem that we look into, and the kind of we can see the data that we are collecting, okay, through our action research. So if you look at as far as this concept of the action research is concerned, it's not so simple. It is very comprehensive. Now let us move. Now this is the initial model which describe the process of the action research. Now, up till now, I was discussing about the concept of the action research. Now, I will discuss about the process of the action research. So, as I already said, even the Court-Levin's model of action research is also termed as a action reflection cycle of planning, acting, observing, and reflecting. So, it has got 4 phases. Starts with the planning. What exactly you want to do in action research? You plan it out, everything, and then after planning is over, once you reflect on your plan, whether it once it looks complete, then you go and execute. After the execution, you see what is the effect of that, collect the data, okay, in different ways, and then after your data is collected, then compile it, analyze it, and reflect, and then take a decision, okay, what is the outcome, and then again go to the planning, with the improve. Now suppose that there was something wrong as per the entire admission process is concerned. The people who are involved in admitting the student, they might have done some mistakes with the data, they might have not managed the data, they may not have proper software and all those things, and there are we can say issues related to the fees collections and the maintenance of the records are concerned, accounts are not matching, or we can say there are complaints from the parents and all those things, and everything is a mess. Then one person can look into, as far as the account sections are concerned, he can plan that, how he'll go about it, to whom he is going to interview, find it out, where the things went wrong, whether the system is wrong, whether too many people involved in that, whether the issue was handled by more than 1 people, 4 people, 6 people, who made the mistake, who created the chaos in the entire coordination process is concerned. And then there can be a fair committee who can be deputed to look into, as far as irregularities are concerned, or any other issues are concerned. And then this system can be improvised. This has happened in many colleges, in many schools, whereas admission is a major issue, and there have been many complaints from the parents. So this action research, this process can help us to, we can say, improvise the processes. Now let us move to the another. Now this is another diagram. Now here again it has got plan, act, observe, reflect, but one more thing it has been added to this. Now if you look at, as far as this structure, this process of the action research is concerned, it has got 4 basic steps. But as far as this we can say model of the process of the action research is concerned, one more we can say element has been added to this we can say structure of the model or the process. Now here it starts with the problem. Where in the court we can say Levin's model is concerned, the problem doesn't exist over there. So this is how, if you see, as far as this we can say definite process of the action research is concerned, it seems to be more logical in comparison to the previous one, and that's why what Levin's action research model is termed as elementary. But this is I think a little bit we can say advanced. Now let us move to the other also. Now here, this is also steps of the scientific method, or the problem-solving method. These are 6 classical steps. These are 6 classical steps of the scientific method that are also defining as far as the process of the action research is concerned. Now here, The first step is identify the problem. Second is gather the data. Third is interpret the data. Fourth is act on the evidence. Fifth one is the evaluate the results. And then sixth one says now we take further decision. So if you see, if you go on studying as far as the different processes of the action research are concerned, you will get to know as far as the different, we can say the steps or the processes of the, we can say action research is concerned. So that way, if you look at as far as the processes of the action research are concerned, those depends, we can say that steps of the action research depends upon the nature of the problem is concerned, or the person who's involved in doing the research. So I cannot say that for so and so problem you use this process, for so and so problem use this process. It entirely depends upon the person who undertakes the action research. So a great variety of we can say the models or processes of the action research are available. One has to be very comfortable in order to choose the processes. It depends. Again, I said that from person to person, we can see situation to situation, problem to problem, and the way it has to be investigated. Okay, the person the way he wants to investigate the problem. So let us see as per this model of the action research is concerned. Now here, identify the problem, envision success. So here again you would think about the interview. No doubt you can make the statement of the problem, but with an envision of the success, how you will overcome the problem, how will you overpower as far as the challenge is concerned, with by defining the end view of envisioning the success in your endeavor. Then develop a plan of action. They collect the data. These are the similar steps. Then analyze the data from the conclusions. Okay, and then you report the results. In center you can say report the results, and then adjust the theory and begin again. Now here again you can go from data and form conclusion, then you can go to the theory. So there is a dichotomy. Once the data is collected, the data is analyzed, you directly form the conclusion first step. And then another dichotomy over here is the report the results. See, many times what happens, there is a tendency among the researchers to write the report, whatever the we can say research findings are concerned, and then they move to the we can say they align it with the theory. But whereas there are certain researchers, they don't write a report. They don't focus on the results only. From the conclusion itself, they apply to the theory. They try to, we can say, modify the theory. So both the ways are we can say can be adopted. But if you'll ask me, as far as my experiences are concerned, I will suggest this route. From analyzing the data rather than forming the conclusions, I will report the results first, and then I will we can say adjust the theory and begin well. So that how this happens and under what we can say circumstance. I will give one example. Now suppose that as practice teaching is concerned, this we have done it number of times. So there are certain we can say issues that come in between. Sometimes schools are working, sometimes schools are not working, sometimes we can say we have made an entire schedule, and then all of a sudden we get to know that the three schools are not working and all those things. So what we do, we based on these experiences, we envision the problem, we identify the problem that we may not get all the schools for all the we can say students who have been deputed. So what we do, we keep 4, 5, 6 we can say schools as standby schools. So in case suppose that in a particular week, now this is nothing but a part of the plan of action that we do well in advance. And then we talk to the collect data, we talk to the schools whether those schools will be available on those days or not. Suppose that we want 5 schools, so we what we do, we take the data from 10 schools. We tell them that there are chances that our students may come for the we can say practice teaching. So we ensure that at least 8 schools are there in our hands. And suppose that out of those 8 schools, uh, 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 by in case suppose that 3 to 4 schools are not working, then we should be in a position to adjust the students in the standby schools. So this is what so that the entire schedule, the way it has been planned, can be implemented as it is. So this is what is nothing but the advanced planning. We can say that you can estimate the problem and you can envision success, by doing preparing a plan B, plan C in case of emergency. That's most important. Now I'll give one example. While organizing the webinar at Bombay Teachers Training College, what we did in case of failure of the electricity of the internet, suppose that I am unable to reach out to you, then what will happen? Shall we cancel this webinar? No, you cannot do this. You should have a plan B well in hand. You should have a standby person, or something other activities in your hands, so that whatever you plan, it should goes as per the plan. So this is what is nothing but through the experience, one learns. So this is what is termed as the action research. So in all our activities, we teachers, we administrators, we can say supervisors, principals should have the multiple resources ready with us. We should have plan A, plan B. We should have the data people with us. We need to have everything in place. Suppose that something goes wrong over there, B part, C part, E part should be ready, and then we should get the success at the end of that. So these are the some of the experiences that can be gained with the period of the time. So even as far as the entire process of the action research, there can be many more issues related to the classroom teaching, related to undertaking the community work, related to we can say even as far as the government is concerned, the government is in soup. University does not know what to do it, so they are trying to develop a plan of action. They are trying to, we can say, exploring the modalities how to conduct the examination for the final semester. Anyhow, they have found the solution of the problem as far as students who are studying in FY SY are concerned. But what about the third year, the students studying in the last semester are concerned? Lot of debates, discussion, online examination, distance learning, social distancing, examination in the month of July, examination in the month of August. People have been talking about it. This is nothing but it's not. These people are trying to find out the alternate solution of the problem. The same philosophy also should be applied in the action research. So the researchers who are engaging in the process of solving the problems also must envision the alternate modes of the, we can say, the success, and they shall also be ready with the plan B, plan C, and then accordingly they shall step in as far as the further process of the action research is concerned. This is a beautiful, we can say, process of the action research, very comprehensive. It's very flexible also. It's very flexible. It's not rigid. So we must make use of the, this. We must consider this process of undertaking action research. Now, this is again a simple, we can say, Carr and Kemmis action research model, which describes two layers, two cycles, cycle one and cycle two, and that's how the entire process of the action research is concerned. It revolves in different cycles. It revolves. That's why it is a continuous process. It is a system. This process of the action research has used a very different vocabulary, like starts where we are now, what is the current situation. So vocabulary has changed, but if you look at it as far as the entire process of the action research is concerned, is one and the same. Where do we want to be, what we aspire to at the end of the 1 month, at the end of 2 months, at the end of COVID-19. Okay, what where we are now, okay, under COVID-19. Where do we want to be after 2 months, 3 months, 4 months? Then how we will get there, set a question. Whether it will take 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, somebody says COVID will remain with us. We had to learn how to live with the COVID by following the social distancing. We cannot stop economic activities. Lot of arguments are there, and no one doesn't know what to do, where to go, what decision to make. Then action, explore, challenge, plan, trial. Everything happened. All the governments, maybe the Gujarat government, Maharashtra government, they are put into the soup. They don't know what kind of actions to take. Green zone, red zone, this area, that area, containment zone. This is all nothing but the outcome of the action research. They have been talking to the people continuously, economics, people on the, we can say, walking on the road, analyzing the situation from time to time, reflecting on the people's decision, economic situation, unemployment, then understanding people's psychology, what does the common man think about it, all those things, reflection and implementation. What is happening is certain, we can say, areas are kept open, certain shops should be allowed to kept open. Why certain shops not? Why the malls should be closed? Why the all other things should be closed? Why the petrol pump should be on? Why this all those other we can say the shopkeeper should be allowed? So all those decisions which we are witnessing are nothing but the outcome of the deliberation which is taking place among the different stakeholders. This is the entire process of we can say the research. This falls into the category of informal. Some I don't say that everything is informal. Some we can say agencies, likewise Chancellor of University of Mumbai, or we can say the Chancellor of we can say the Governor of Maharashtra. He must be collecting the data from the Vice Chancellor. He must be talking to the different people, maybe the Minister, Education Minister, the all other people must be gathering the data, how to move ahead, how to way forward as far as taking decisions are concerned. Even the vice chancellor of University of Mumbai, has taken the certain decisions on the basis of the guideline that has been provided by the UGC. UGC constituted a committee in order to, that committee shall give the suggestion to the UGC to decide what should be the academic calendar for the next year. So even that community was also driven by the discussions among the experts themselves, looking into the television news in the look at, assessing the situation in the entire country is concerned, different we can say parts of India are concerned. So huge we can say involvement is there as far as the entire decision making is concerned. Nobody shall think about that the decisions are taken we can say abruptly by the administrators. No, certain thought processes are there, certain we can say deliberations are taking place, certain fact channel discussions are going on, certain assessment of the situations are going on, reports are being we can say or we can say written by the experts, are sent to the communities or the administrative bodies, and the basis of those reports the bodies are taking the decision. So we need to look into very minutely that what kind of processes that has been undertaken as far as the decision making is concerned. Now the decisions can go very well right when those decisions are made in the light of we can say the observation that are being made. The data has been we can say collected from the relevant resources. Now today's we can say news say that India could save 60%, control 60% we can say spread of the COVID in India due to the lockdown, due to the earlier we can say step that were taken by the central government. So again, as far as these kind of we can say the news which we see in the newspaper and the television can also be looked into as far as how they have arrived on certain conclusions, the decisions, what kind of data that they have gathered, and whether the data is valid or not, whether the valid procedures that has been adopted by them or not is the big question. So being a rational person, rather than accepting those decisions, we must as teachers understand that what processes has been we can say followed by these people. So that we shall not only focus on the decision making, the decision itself, but the kind of process that has been undertaken by those bodies while taking a decision. And then we must reflect whether that decision is rational or not. if if the proper the process has been followed, the problem has been identified, the relevant tools of the data collection has been we can say formulated, data has been collected, data has been analyzed, and this in the light of the scientific analysis of the data, one needs to we can say take the decisions. So then and then we can find it out where to from here. Now what is the next, so this is a very important we can say the philosophy and the process that one needs to understand, one needs to practice hard in one's life. And if you are there in the public life, and then you will have to we can say utilize this process, you have to follow this process, so that all your decisions are very very rational. Because governments are being appreciated on the basis of their rational decisions. If the decisions are not rational at all, the decision which do not have any basis are highly dangerous, and maybe very critical as far as various national policies are concerned, and even as far as the local policies are concerned. And that's why one shall never take the decisions abruptly, but one shall before taking any decisions which are applicable to the group, those should be very very rational in nature. Now let us move to, now again this is also a same process of scientific inquiry. Again 5 steps are there. The repetition, this has been shown in a very different manner. Again reflection is as the core component of entire action research cycle. Now this is a very very popular, very popular structure of the process of the action research is concerned. It has got no doubt 4 basic elements: planning, acting, observing, reflecting, as Scott Levin has given. But in between, they have specified identifying, informing, and organizing. As far as planning is concerned, planning, one has to identify, inform, and organize, and then act. And again, in order to act, one needs to trailing, collecting, and questioning. So in between, one has to we can say construct the questionnaire, and then adopt the procedures in order to collect the data. After the collection of the data is concerned, one needs to analyze, report, and share. Data sharing is very very important. That's more important. I'll give one example here. There's a worldometer which gives you the data for the COVID number of infections in a particular country, and then death rate, and then survival rate, and all those things. And from the data, and rather than going to the we can say the conclusions drawn from it, one can oneself can we can say draw the conclusion on the basis of the data. So what I will advise you all, that if you are really curious to know as far as this process is concerned, if you want to understand it, so rather than going to the decisions which are we can say the outcome which are written by someone else, better you yourself access the data, and then reflect on the data, and then yourself draw the conclusions from the data itself. That is the best strategy that you must use it, and that's why these are some of the characteristics of a scientific person. So being a teacher, rather than relying on somebody saying to you about a particular school, better you yourself observe, collect the data, and if you can access the data, then you can draw inferences by yourself. Now somebody says you that BTTC is Bombay's topmost college, you shall never believe that. You must conduct an inquiry, you must talk to the people in your related field, and you should try to get the data. You should try to visit the website. You should try to look into the kind of placement it has got it, the kind of students are studying over there. You also need to look into other colleges also. And then you need to access the data. What kind of activities are being done over there? What kind of we can say faculty is there over there not? So once you will take a greater interest, collect the data, then probably the data will indicate you that which will help you to take a decision. So this is what I would like to tell you all, that being we can say a teacher, being an educationist, you must understand this process and you must apply it in your daily life. I don't say that every time you do the action research formally, then make the proposal, prepare the questionnaire, collect the data, compile the data, draw the inferences, apply it. See, once a while, twice in a week, you can do that. Formal, I think, kind of action research that you can do. You should never do more than that, but you should do it on a critical issues, which cannot be solved, which cannot be understood merely by observations, merely by talking to the people. There may be certain problems that can be that can be assessed by looking into that, by talking to the people, which can be solved. Don't There's no need to conduct action research for this. But actually, as far as the complex issues are concerned, which are whereas you're not able to understand what underlies in between, then as far as such situations are concerned, then and then you must indulge into doing a formal we can say action research is concerned. Otherwise, I won't suggest you for a very ordinary or very routine we can say educational issues are concerned, you shall undertake action research. No, never. So this is what I would like to suggest you all, that action research should be used in a very rational manner, very rational manner. So let us move further. What is there next? Okay, now this is the beautiful we can say philosophy which has been given by the Kurt Lewins, and this we can say model is known as Levin's force field model. Now, what happens whenever you are there in the organization, you have got a stand for certain things. You believe in certain things. If your experience say that so and so methodology is excellent, so what happens? You advocate that this is the best principle, this is the best strategy, we must go about it. But there may be a contradiction. Now, as far as these type of forces are concerned, we call it as the driving forces. Now, suppose that there is a teacher who's sitting extra, conducting remedial classes, and then putting extra efforts, communicating to the children, understanding their problems, and then helping them in and out. This is the base strategy we can say, or we can say you can invest extra of your we can say time and can help the students. But simultaneously, there are chances, there are other factors which are can be counteracting simultaneously, which may restrain, which can be termed as restraining forces, because the other faculty members may feel that today you are staying for one more hour, tomorrow they will also, management will also say that now this teacher is doing, why you're not doing this. Then there are chances that they may approach you, you say that, hey bhaiya, please stop waiting for the longer period of time in the school, you are creating a nuisance for all of us. Tomorrow management principal will also expect the same behavior from us. Tomorrow students will report, parents will report, they will question, and then then the principal will ask us, please stay back. It works out. So these are the sum of the forces. This is a very simple example which I have given you, which doesn't need any kind of action research. I'm not saying that you shall conduct action research on this, but this is the reality. This is the reality. So along with the friends, there may be 4 or 5 people supporting this ideology. They may stay back in the school hours, extra for school hours. They may not stay back. They may have their own choices, but they may support you. Say, "भैया हम तो नहीं कर सकते हैं, but please go on. You are doing a good job. You are helping poor students, and with your efforts, students are gaining. They are improvising." But there can be a group of people simultaneously who may create a challenge for you in the name of the unity in the staff. These are the some of the restraining forces which doesn't allow you to proceed. The same way, as far as any organization is concerned, if new concept, a new education policy, or the new things which are introduced in the school system, it may adversely affect as far as the contemporary social environment the school is concerned. Sometimes the environment is visible, sometimes environmental is not visible. Sometimes environment is very positive, sometimes environment is not so positive. So you had to be absolutely very, very diplomatic when you are taking decisions like these are concerned. And many times as an administrators, we experience that there's a group of 10 people, four people are far, 6 people are against a particular decision making. Suppose that if you introduce a particular new thing, it requires a lot of efforts, and teachers may say that no, this is the extra workload for us, for all of us. We are ready to do that. What about the money? What about our efforts? So many times there may be a situation also. Okay, for very good decisions, when you support certain good decisions simultaneously, there may be we can say equal but opposite forces that may act against that particular environment, against that decision is concerned. So you have to identify and you must try to nullify those we can say forces are concerned. I don't say that eliminate the people or fight with them, but you have to be very smart in taking your own decisions. And many times what happens, certain we can say strategies when you use in the classroom, certain strategies work, certain strategies do not work at all, which are very lengthy and cumbersome and which may affect adversely to the students. So suppose that if you find that some of your decisions are we can say creating a lot of stress and anxiety among the student as far as their academic achievement is concerned, academic performance is concerned, then there is a need to stay back. You need to take one step back. There's no harm in doing so because you are doing in the interest of the student. So if you study as far as this model is concerned, this model is excellent and you must study, you must use it. I have used it in my we can say simulated lessons. What I did at the end of each of those sessions, we use a very positive vocabulary, body language, and analytical we can say steps for the students, and we motivated them. Yes, the way you taught a particular concept was really excellent, and then we used very positive reinforcement, and then we gave them another chance, and then we gave them the very positive constructive suggestions that they must we can say be very careful as far as using different words vocabulary is concerned. Very constructive, positive and negative little critical feedback was given to them, and another chance was also given to them, and we saw a drastic change in their performance. So this model was we can say used. So that's how the teachers can make use of this model in order to infuse a right kind of attitude towards learning. So I will suggest that each one has got its own style of using different models, and but this model is a very potential and can be used in the classroom, used in the school system also, if a person is at the administrative level. But this is wonderful. I have used it and I have benefited a lot about it. So as far as different educational challenges are concerned, if needed, I make use of this model sometimes informally. Once or twice I have used this model formally also. Twice this model has been used in my entire career as far as this model is concerned. Now let us move to the 6 principles of the action research. This is a beautiful philosophy, and one must uh, we can say learn, and then uh, make a part of your characteristics. So the first principle is reflective critic. If you see, as far as the entire process is concerned, uh, it is a reflective critic. It gives you the feedback, reverse feedback, how to improvise. It tells you the pitfalls about the methodology that you have done, the way you have made the proposal, whether you have not gone scientific. So it's a it gives you a constructive feedback. And then suppose that your colleagues, your friends, sometimes some of the students, if they don't like a certain part of your proposal, if they criticize, please listen to them, don't argue with them, take it very positively, think from their perspectives, and I think you will be able to improvise the validity of your proposal. Then dialectical critic. Now here the dialogue shall go on. Now since you have made the proposal and somebody criticizes you, and then you say that, oh my god, how you can criticize my proposal? It's my proposal. This is my understanding. What I thought is right. No, you can never be always right. If somebody is criticizing, then something is there. So you must listen, write it down, and go and reflect. So the dialogue shall go two-way. Dialogue shall to go two-way. You do not have any right to reject any of those suggestions given to you. Otherwise, you will kill the validity of your own proposal, your own research. Never do that. It's a dialectical critic, and you should be ready for that. This will improvise your temperament, your ability to listening to other, analyzing their perception, understanding their perception, and including their perceptions in your research project. This is must. You must appreciate the people who are involved in criticizing you, because these are the people, they always play a significant role in correcting you, and you must understand their perception. If their perception is scientifically correct, then you must accept this. Even see the people, who criticize, they always have got something different than in the people who support you. So always listen to people who has got a habit of criticizing others, because they give you the entirely a very different view, opposite to the 180 degrees. Then collaborative resource. This is very, very important. If the collaborative resource is not taken into consideration, the entire system fails. So as I said, that action research is a collaborative process itself. It is undertaken no doubt by one or the two people, but in cooperation with, in collaboration with the rest of the, we can say, other people who are involved in that, especially the students. They are your collaborators. They collaborate in your research. They help, they contribute, they participate, they get involved into that. They play a very instrumental role in that. So please make use of the collaborative resources and keep your, we can say, the entire process open, like a book. Let people read, your colleagues, your critics, everything. Don't hide anything from anyone. Keep it open for the discussion, for understanding. If some lacunas are there, accept it. Try to correct it. This will help you to increase the validity of your risk. See what happens when you conduct the research. You are inviting the risk. You are inviting the criticism. You are inviting the enemies. If there is a stuff, if there is some potential in your work, then those enemies will also, we can say, appreciate your work. So risk is involved, and take the risk. And this is a calculated risk. This is not absolute risk. If you're not scientific in your approach, then I will say it's a pure risk. But suppose that you are very scientific in your approach, then I will call this as a calculated risk. And the educationists need to take the calculated risk. This is what is the need of the hour. This is what the kind of, we can say, stand we need to take it. We need to speak it out, which we never do in our life. What he will say, if I will go against him, if I will give him the feedback, if you won't accept it. See, we do not have the habit of asking the questions. What people will consider that, I am creating obstacles in his roads. This is what is nothing but the thoughts. And then, again we will say, I am not going to ask him. इसको पूछेगा तो मेरा प्रोजेक्ट का वाट लग जाएगा. Everything will be exposed. People will duplicate. If I will keep it open, people will, we can say, understand what I'm doing it. They will duplicate it. See, people have got the fear, ये चोरी हो जाएगा, मेरे से पहले कोई और कर लेगा. This will never happen. If somebody does it, let him do. If it is your original work, it will never go. You keep on working. This is your own style. Please do it. This is the calculated risk, and one must take it. One must take it. If you will take the risk, you will be able to do the research. If you won't take it, you will never able to do the research. And I will suggest that if you want to, if you are very young, you have got 30 to 35 years, we can say, the career in this field, you must go for it. You must, confront the problems. You must confront with the challenges, and see that you overcome it. And if you are a very rational, if you are scientific in your approach, and if you are doing, everything from your bottom of heart, you will overpower all those restraining forces, and the driving forces, will overpower all restraining forces. Another thing, action research has got a plural structure. As I said, it do not have a single structure. It has got many more structures, many more plural structures are existing, depending upon the nature of the group, nature of the data, nature of the kind of inquiry that you are conducting, the nature of the processes are concerned. So if you look at the entire, we can say, action research is concerned, is very flexible, plural in nature. And there's a room for every researchers to select the processes in which you can select a very simple process with the 4 steps, 6 steps, 7 steps also. And suppose that if you are more interested, if you get to know more information in between, and if you want to rectify, you are permitted to do that also, because it is your research, it is your own understanding, it's own learning that you want to implement in between. So it entirely depends on how many cycles you want to get into, how much clarification you want, and how far you are interested to go deep into the problem, dig it, and then solve it. It is up to you. Then uh, um, uh, it is a theory practice transformation. What happens, there is one theory, inductive deductive method. That is a theory. Now you are using this theory into the reality. But suppose that while implementing the inductive deductive method, and if you are seeing the effectiveness of the inductive deductive method, you may come to know that it has got certain pitfalls. There is a much superior method like concept attainment model. There are certain few more steps. If you follow that, then you can clarify the concept in much better manner in comparison to inductive deductive method. You may find that the concept attainment model is far superior than in inductive deductive method. Your research may say this, or your research may also reveal another fact also. The way you cite the examples, positive, negative, negative, positive, label, unlabel, unlabel, label. So it entirely depends on how much you understand the theory, how much you apply the theory in reality, and how much you draw from the theory and construct one more theory. So if you see, as far as the entire action research is concerned, it is a transformation of the theory into the practice and practice into the theory. All those theories, Gardner's theory, we are seeing that multiple intelligence. Gardner's theory is nothing but an extension of the various motivational theories, multiple intelligence theories, and then while applying those theories in the real life, he came to know that there are many more intelligences which also coexist simultaneously, and that's how he added few more intelligence to the previous theories. So this is how, as far as the action research is concerned, if it is rigorously, we can say, followed religiously with a greater level of understanding of the previous theories, one can, we can say, we can construct more theories on the basis of the practice. So if you see, as far as this action research is concerned, it is a transformation of the theory into the practice and practice into the theory also, vice versa. So here the theory informs practice and the practice refines theory. So with the help of, we can say, practice, we can refine the existence theories of learning. So this is what is a very powerful process, a very rational, very scientific process. One must, we can say, need to follow very passionately in one's life. That's very important. Yes. Then let us move to the 5 operational principles of action. So now what I did, I studied and explained the standard principles of action research, but now here I am going to give emphasis more on 5 operational principles of action research. The first one, seeks improvement by intervention in the practice, which I already covered. Involve the researcher, the main focus of the research. One should be there who shall take the total ownership of the research project, who shall say that, yes, this is my project from A to Z, I am responsible for this. Then involves others as co-researchers than informers, and is therefore participatory. This is very important. This is nothing but the collective, we can say, approach should be there, collective approach. It is the main responsibility of the main researcher, who undertakes the research, take the other, we can say, participants in confidence as co-researchers. So the same kind of feeling and the kind of curiosity should be there in the participants as far as the entire process has been undertaken by the researcher, is a rigorous form of inquiry that leads to the generation of the theory from the practice. This I have already covered as the sixth principle of an action research, and needs continuous validation by educated witness the context it serves. Yes, it needs continuous validation by educated witness. Educated witness means reliable data for from the context it serves. If doesn't outcome of the research doesn't serve the context, it is useless. It is totally useless. And one more thing, as a researcher, one needs to continuously validate as far as each process of the action research is concerned. I'll give you one example. All those media channels, before the election, they give you the exit poll, and they say plus minus 3%. So and so party will get so and so percentage of the vote, and when you convert the percentage of the vote into the seats, so and so party is going to get these many seats. Why? While there are certain we can say channels who are able to predict the results by analyzing the responses of only 10 to 12,000 people for the entire country. Now you think that means they are following with statistical models which are valid. If they won't use the valid models, they can never predict. That means as far as the sampling technique is concerned, then data collection is concerned, the number of data which are required to draw from the sample is concerned, then and then they can predict. I don't say that that is action research. I don't claim that that is action research, but I am saying that that process of the research is a valid process. I'm talking about the validity over here. I don't say that the exit polls and then connecting samples, we can say mean score with the population's mean score. That is a parametric study. That is the standard, we can say, practice of doing the research. Doesn't fall into the action research, but that is also process of the research. So that process is validated, and this also action research also should be validated from time to time by the researchers. If the process is not validated, then everything is undertaken by the in the name of the research is null and void. Next, yes, uh, it is focused on the improvement of the problematic situation in the practice. We should not conduct the action research for the sake of this. If certain problems are to be, we can say, overcome, then and then you must undertake the research. Otherwise, there is no need to do that kind of research. The design of the study is emergent with 4 phases: planning, acting, observing, reflecting. So if you see again, as far as this these principles are concerned, they say that there are basically 4 steps which has been advocated by Kurt Lewin. Never forget that. Like ABCD has got 26 letters. Like action research has got 4 we can say phases: planning, acting, observing, and reflecting. And there can be many more models. Dr. Balani can give you a model with the 6 we can say steps, 7 step, 8 step. The same Balani can give you a 10th step also for a particular step research process. So what I want to say that it is emergent. Emergent means what? It is not static. It's not a fix. Tomorrow I may come up with a research, we can say action research project having 4 steps, and for another project I may follow 5 steps, 6 step, 8 step, 9 step, even 10 step also. It is up to you, up to me. So that means as far as this entire process is concerned, this process is emergent. It's not static, and it has got 4 phases. And without that, you cannot conduct the action research also. So never forget that all those alphabets A to Z, 26 alphabets, here 4 alphabets are there: PAOR, PAOR. That's all, simple. The 4 phases of the action research, they will remain constant. Always let there be any model of the action research, which I have previously discussed in my discussion. Then the researchers engage participants as co-investigators. You must respect as co-investigator, they are co-researchers. I'm talking about especially about action research because the outcome of the research is applicable to them, and they should be in a position to associate their perception, their experiences with the outcome of the research. If they cannot associate their perception, their experiences with the outcome of the research, then research is a big failure. And then they may say that हमको तो पता ही था, ये सब बराबर नहीं हो रहा है, ये कोई रिसर्च नहीं है, फालतूगिरी है. People will say there's no stuff at all, because their involvement is not there. You haven't taken into them in consideration. They have not validated. They may have questions in between. See, many times what happens, people say that whatever the decisions I am doing, I'm taking decision for your well-being, for your studies. But the student has got the counter argument. They say that we don't need it. Many times teachers argue with the student that this step we are taking for your better improvement, and the students reject. You say that we don't want, because so many times I have seen that we have conducted the classes, we have called the resource person, and we give a lot of value, and when we take the feedback from the student, they say that we know everything. There was no need to conduct all those classes for us. You are wasting our time. Many times we conduct so many classes in the computer lab, and then we teach them the different concepts in computers. Many students, they come and report that, sir, this we already learned in the 12th standard, we don't need all those things. We want all those we can say the sessions which we don't know, which are very new, which are very helpful to us. So this is what is the need of the hour. If you want to talk about the betterment of the progression of the students development is concerned, then their perceptions are very important. So many times what happens, if you consider the perception of the researcher wants to do that, and that's why you have to do it. That's not going to help anymore. If the student reject, then and there, please remove from your action research, then and there. If it is there in your plan, please remove this. Modify your plan. That is what is the need of the hour. That is what we all need to learn. That is why we need to understand what today's children want. That's more important. We have to be very, very relevant. Because if you see, as far as the subject knowledge is concerned, many times the children know more than their teachers. But what does the teachers do? They need to understand their abilities, their background knowledge, and then the teachers needs to construct the new knowledge for them. We cannot do research, with the co-investigators who understand that whatever has been we can say done in the name of the research is not going to benefit anymore as far as the group is concerned. So if you get one voice also, one voice, when you are doing a research, please modify your research, because if you will ignore a validity question that has been raised by that we can say co-investigator, it will affect as far as the outcome of your research is concerned. So please do consider as far as their perception and their feedback is concerned. Validate it, because I spoke about the validity of the action research is concerned. It has got three we can say phases: self-validity, peer validity, learner validity. See, if you want check the validity at every stage of your research, you're not going to do the justice with your research. No doubt, you construct your own hypothesis. You may write your own research questions, get it validated from your peers. Your peers may we can say the kind of question that you have included in your questionnaire. But there are chances that some of the we can say co-investigators may reject some of the hypotheses or the research questions which you might have included in your research we can say problem or a proposal. Please drop if those suggestions are very strong and are realistic. Or see, you should not reject any of those we can say suggestions which are not rational. But one shall make sure that the suggestions are realistic, suggestions are rational. Then please implement those suggestions. That will increase the validity of your research. The leader researcher may be either an insider or an outsider, or a configuration of the two, and may emerge over time. I will suggest over here, rather than the outsider, let there be an insider. And if outsider is there, then the help of that outsider researcher can be sort of, rather than the outsider. Better that let there be an insider, okay, who are and if outsider is there, research is concerned, it increases the validity of the research. If the only outsider is conducting the research, that researcher may not be aware about the camaraderie and then the relationship among the different subjects which are there in that particular group. So that's why I will suggest that there should be a combination of the two people, one insider and outsider. If it is there, then the configuration of the two will definitely increase the validity of the research. And the multiple forms of the data are collected and analyzed in the systematic way as the research process unfolds. So here, rather than relying on the, we can say, numerical data, the quantitative data, it is always better to make use of the triangulations. Triangulation means what? As a researcher, no doubt you have constructed the tool, you collect the data, convert the data into the numbers, mean scores, variability, apply your statistical techniques, go on ahead, there's no problem. But simultaneously, keep two more things. One, participant observation, sit uh, with the observation schedule, what things are to be observed, recorded, and then take the interviews from time to time. Record their, we can say, uh, their opinion, their views about their learnings and behaviors, about their thinking processes. All those things are very, very important. And then call it, try to put the things on the same platter and see whether the outcome of the data supports other data or not, whether the outcome of the data is controversial or not. So many times what happens, what you have observed in the quantitative analysis, it's coming significant, and your experiences say that it is not so significant. So there are chances there may be a contradiction between the two we can outcomes of the two data sets. So in that case, being a researcher, you must make note of all those things. That's most important. So here, if you see, as far as these principles are concerned, they are guiding, we can say, lights for you, so that you can validate and you can make the entire process more authentic. Am I running out of time? Organizers, please suggest how far I can go ahead. Please suggest. Shall I continue for 15 more minutes? Okay. Yes. Now again, as I have been betting, what
Hello,
is
sir.
hello? Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes. Beta. Yes. So shall how much time you will give me to wind up so that I can? Hello. Hello. Shall I continue?
Can you wind up?
In
Yeah,
how many
yeah.
minutes? How many minutes?
Please wind up.
Okay, thank you. Give
Hello.
me 3-4 minutes. Let me do the concluding statement.
Wind up, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
I have been discussing what
More
action.
5 minutes.
Okay, I have been discussing what action research is not in entire my discussion. Please mute your microphones, Anjana. Humble request. Lot of noise is coming, please. Yes, thank you. So as far as the methods of action research are concerned, those can be experimental, survey, case study, and diagnostic. This can be discussed in another webinar in depth with the help of examples. And then you have got the base method, which I would suggest is the participatory action research, which I have been betting a lot because it has got researcher, co-researchers, and the validity of this research is very, very, very high. So you shall never undertake action research in isolation as individual teacher, collaborative research, and if possible, you must bat for participatory action research, because this is the research which we can say keep keep the entire research team okay as a one team, whereas the researcher just is a member of the team, and other members they contribute as the researcher is contributing, and as a result of that the validity of the outcome of the research and undertaking research under this category is maximum. It's more we can say fruitful. And if you look at as per the tools and techniques of action research are concerned, in order to collect the data, you can use questionnaire, rating scale, checklist, audio, video recordings. And as far as the techniques are concerned, you can conduct a structure and unstructured interviews, observations. These are very, very important part. I will suggest that select only one from this, one or two, or you can have questionnaire, audio, video recording also. Then you can go for interview and observation, structured interview, and then participant observation. The three we can say the tools will help you to collect the authentic data, and that authentic data will help you to reach to the conclusion which may be very very true. Now, these are the some of the steps which I already discussed. Identify the problem, do the review of literature, design your action research plan the way it suits to your we can say conditions, and then start with the research question, discuss the need, significant, write your aims and objectives correctly, identify your team the way you want to conduct the research, design the appropriate research design, prepare a schedule and the budget in order to do the action research. And these are the some of the techniques, qualitative data and qualitative data, which can be discussed in another webinar beautifully. And then, as far as the report writing is concerned, your report should be very very comprehensive, authentic, truthful and appropriate. And whatever the outcome of your research is concerned should be written in the form of the paper, and it shall find we can say place either in UGC recognized journals or peer reviewed journals if it is local. Choice is yours. I stop over here. Thank you to the organization, Dr. Anjana Rawat, Principal, Ganga College of Education, the management, the faculty members, the participants. I am thankful to you for giving me this opportunity to interact with you on the topic action research. Over to Dr. Anjana Rawat. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your lucid, knowledgeable, and insightful session on action research. It was just awesome. Now we shall take a very few questions from dear participants. First question is from Kiniki Datta, asking, can formative and summative assessment of child can be considered a resource in action research?
Hello, am I
Yes.
audible?
Yes, yes. I have understood the question.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Now, uh, rather than considering them as an assessment, formative and summative, what I will suggest, being a researcher, do not confine to, we can say, these two processes only, but be a more vigilant, we can say, a person, because it is your own research and you want to understand the problem by collecting the data. So only collection, observation and collection of the data should not be the focus, but you shall try your level best to understand the situation, and under that situation, how do people operate, how do the people give data, and how much we can say authenticity is there in that data. Try to understand, either measuring it in the form of the number or by talking to them at one-to-one level. That will help you more, rather than categorizing the entire action research in the form of formative and summative assessment. Please don't limit to those concepts, but go beyond that. Yes. Next question.
Sir, last question. We have selected just two because of time constraint.
Okay.
Yes. Next question is from Jaya Kumari. She is asking, is action research used only to solve problem?
No, no. As I said, no, in my presentation only.
Hello?
It goes beyond that. It is used to enhance, we can say, communication with the co-researchers. If you want to do something, we can say, introduce new practices, new pedagogy. If you want to enhance the student performance, their academic performance, if you want to add some more activities and seek more participation, and if you want to do something extra for the student development progression, so all those things can be introduced in the form of the action research. So action research is not only limited to the problem solving. It can be undertaking under we can say this one objective, but there can be many more objectives of doing action research. Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you once again, sir, for addressing the queries of our participants. Dear participants, there are some important instructions for you. Once webinar is over, feedback form link shall be posted on Telegram group. Filling feedback form is absolutely mandatory. Fill proper email and full name in your feedback form as required in certificates. Certificates shall be issued only to those participants who submit their feedback form. Without submitting feedback, certificates will not be issued. And we are going to upload uh, a video on YouTube with more property later. Further, updates related to webinar shall be continuously posted on Telegram group. So we request you that kindly check your Telegram group on a regular basis. Now I request Assistant Professor SAVITA Upasani to officially express vote of thanks. Over to you, Upasani ma'am. Thank you once again, sir.
Thank you, Ketan sir. Good evening all. I deemed a great honor and privilege to propose the vote of thanks on this memorial occasion. Let me first of all start by giving glory to Almighty God for making today's webinar a resounding success. First and foremost, I thank Dr. BALANI sir for his explanation of action research. Sir, you share immense knowledge about action research with fantastic examples, clear and lucid language. Thank you, sir, for your valuable inputs. I read a lot of positive comments on comment box. Participants gain a lot. They like your PPT presentation. I value and respect that how you manage your time for this webinar as a resource person. We are grateful to our management, Honorable Professor B.D. Patil sir, Founder Chairman, Ganga Education Trust, Thane, respected Anita Patil More ma'am, Director, Ganga Education Trust, and respected Mrs. Anjana Patil ma'am, Trustee, Ganga Education Trust, Thane, for their encouragement and continuous support. We have been fortunate enough to be backed by a very motivated and dedicated team leader to our beloved well-wisher, respected Dr. Anjana Rawat, in charge principal of Ganga College of Education, B.Ed. I express my gratitude for her stewardship, support, vision, and commitment to success this webinar. I express my heartful gratitude to my colleague and convener of this webinar, Mr. KETAN KAMBLE, Assistant Professor of Ganga College of Education, for his enthusiasm, hard work, commitment, and result-orientedness. I extend my thanks to all faculty members for their valuable contribution and guidance all our efforts. I owe my special gratitude to Mr. PARAG PADELKAR and Mr. SHIRKE for giving technical support. This webinar is hosted by and telecast live on YouTube by Raj Rocker Studio. If your institution wish to host a webinar and telecast live on YouTube, you can connect Raj Rocker Studio. Contact details are given in description box below. Last but not the least, I thank you all wonderful active participants of this webinar for your gracious presence. More than 1200 students, teachers, college lecturers, professors, and principals of various institutes participating in this webinar. This is a great success in itself. I once again thanks everyone for making this program successful. So hereby, I declare that this webinar is closed.